And we're continuing. I take the bridge of my nose in my fingers while I blink my eyes heavily in an attempt to make things seem clear. I'm barely staying awake as it is. Hanako, you want to say something? What is it?
I wanted to give you this.
She holds out a small rectangular piece of paper. I blink again to make out the text through barely open eyes, slowly starting to make out what's written.
Eggs.
Eggs, 2. Bread loaf, 1. Whole grain cereal, 1. Time, 1. A shopping list? I look upwards, raising an eyebrow.
I usually go shopping with Lilly, but I can't come, so...
You want me to run errands for you?
It's okay if you don't want to. I just thought maybe,
She's panicking. I sigh. Yet another battle lost, though this time by a weakly fought surrender. I smile tiredly and rest a hand on her head to calm her down. It's fine. I was going to go anyway. Just the stuff on the list? She nods, then bows deeply, twice, as if to make her graduate perfectly clear. Gratitude.
We were going to meet outside of the school gates at 6. Thank you. I was going to get it, but I need to study for the test tomorrow.
Test? That's right, science. How are you doing with it? She brightens ever so slightly.
I've been spending more time on it than before. I think I can do okay.
Good work, then. She too starts smiling, and much more earnestly than I at that. I have full confidence that I can do fine in it without any extra studying, but the fact that she's putting the effort instead of just reading in library is heartening. She's putting in the effort instead of just reading in the library is heartening. I'll grab your stuff and take it to your dorm in the evening. See ya. With a small wave, we part ways. I'll go do my homework before meeting Lilly. I should be able to take care of it in time. Wrangling with a particularly complicated math problem has caused me to be a little bit late for my meeting with Lilly. Only a couple of minutes, but enough to make me step smartly out into the courtyard and to the school gate. I make a right turn and start my way towards the small town below, leaving a few students turning the other way to the bus station. I slip my right hand into my pocket as I walk in the orange sunlight of dusk. Thankfully, the sweltering summer heat started to die down, making way for a pleasant cool breeze. When I stretch my hands high above my head, a familiar figure takes form, cane in her right hand. Ah, Lilly. She stops and turns around, swiveling her head slightly to try and work out exactly where the voice came from. Hey, it's me. I quickly catch up to her, coming in beside her and matching her slow pace as we resume walking.
Good afternoon, Hisao.
Hi there. I glance up at the sky. A distinct tinge of orange discolors the clouds, washing the footpath in its light. Long shadows from the trees fall across the wide road down the hill.
So, Hisao, what brings you here?
Just going to town to grab some groceries. Hanako sent me.
Hanako sent you?
Yeah, said she needed to study for a test tomorrow. I was going to come down anyway, so I'll just buy her stuff as well. Unspoken is that Lilly really could use some help to get food, but it's an obvious fact that neither of us needs to state.
It's good to hear that she's studying for it.
I thought the same thing when she asked me to come with you. We continue walking down the street, the familiar sound of her cane echoing through the air as we go. Except for the occasional passing car and the leaves whispering in the branches, there's a blissful silence. Thank God I can finally relax for the first time today. I glance over at Lilly. The porcelain face of hers never seems to lack that air of relaxed confidence. I guess the same could be said of her personality too. As she silently walks, her face remaining pointed to the street ahead of her, I look ahead and savor the cool air blowing over my face. This is probably the calmest moment I've had since the about face my life took so recently. To have it while walking to get some groceries, what a weird life. I feel the crumpled up note rubbing against my hand in my pocket, and pull it out to check its contents. Let's see here. Eggs, bread, cereal, thyme, lettuce, shaved ham.
That sounds like quite a bit to carry back alone with your own.
Yeah, just how much does this girl eat anyway? My mind suddenly clicks that yes, there actually is a person beside me. Wait, I mean... She laughs wholeheartedly.
My, Hisao.
Her giggles punctuated by her words, though she's making little effort to suppress them.
Quite direct today, aren't we?
Yeah, you got me there. Still, it is quite a bit.
Usually I go shopping with Hanako, so I know what she buys. It's the same thing every week.
Huh, she a good cook? She gives a nervous giggle.
It's usually me who ends up cooking. I used to do it for Akira, so it's no problem doing it for Hanako as well.
You can cook, but Lily, you didn't cook for Akira. You only left her the scraps. Wah. A short hum with an amused lilt emanates from beside me. I wonder if the fact that she seems amused by my comments so often is actually genuine, or rather just from a want to make me more comfortable in addressing her blindness.
There are ways around it. Some meals are more difficult to cook than others because of being unable to see what I'm doing, but it usually takes only a little more time. Fingers can double as very useful measurement tools, for example.
It makes sense, but she'd have to be pretty careful not to hurt herself. Wonder how many times that's happened, given that it sounds that she's cooked alone for possibly years while Akira worked and her parents were gone. With that, the conversation trails off. Compared to the awkward silences of Hanako, Lily seems genuinely content to say what she thinks and stay quiet when there's nothing to say. The slick road under my feet is bathed in an orange glow, the occasional fallen leaf crunching underfoot as we walk. I let out a deep yawn, my lack of sleep coming back to haunt me.
Did you not get much sleep last night?
I couldn't sleep at all for the last 2 nights. Probably insomnia. Lily's face suddenly becomes worried. Feels like a personal failure every time she gets worried about my well-being, even if it's genuinely nice to know someone cares.
You have insomnia? Are you going to see the nurse about it?
Nah, no real need. It's happened before a few times. My meds screw with my sleeping occasionally.
I'm sorry.
Come on, it's not your fault. At least I shouldn't have any trouble getting to sleep tonight.
You do worry me sometimes.
I worry you? I reach around and scratch the back of my neck. I kinda want to address this. Hey, Lily. I don't mean to sound weird, but please try to forget about my heart condition. She looks kind of lost. I hardly blame her. I guess what I'm trying to get at is, just don't treat me differently because of it. She bows her head slightly, her white cheeks reddening most imperceptibly.
It's only natural to worry about those around you.
Well, it's still nice to know there's someone like that out there. It may be somewhat embarrassing to say, but it's the truth. Lily takes a breath to regain her composure and manages a gentle smile, though her cheeks remain flushed. The final downhill walk to the store passes in silence. Welcome! I suppose I'll get my stuff first and Hanako's on the second round. I grab 2 well-worn red baskets from the stack beside the entrance and pass one to Lily. Just as she did before, she lays it on the ground and slides her retracted cane before the basket's handles, before picking it back up with her right hand. When she takes hold of my arm in her own, I'm surprised at just how fast this kind of casual contact became so natural, mostly due to necessity, no doubt.
Shall we?
Sure. While we navigate around the store, the odd person occasionally passing us pays us no heed at all. It's nice, compared to the stares and whispers around the city. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily what she needs and grab it along with what I want, putting our items into our respective baskets. It's an odd feeling to be dependent on so much for something so basic as shopping. Hanako would practically a necessity for her to pick out what she wants after all. Right, I'm pretty much done with both my stuff and Hanako's. You needing anything else, Lily?
No, this should be everything.
Off we go then. Oddly, there's a queue a mile long. Considering the store's only large enough to warrant one counter, seems like it'll take a while. Damn. Lily gives an inquisitive look, unable to see the reason for my complaint. The queue's really long. Looks like we'll have to wait.
How strange.
Sharing the same mood of resignation, we reluctantly take our place at the end of the line. One person finishes, the line moves up. Another person finishes, the line moves up. By the time we finally reach the head of the line, I'm so close to dozing off that Lily has to gently pat me on the head to make me move up.
Hisao? Hisao?
Sorry. She gives a short sigh of consternation as I move up, getting the groceries for Hanako and I put into separate bags.
Thank you, please come again.
By the time we emerge from the store, Lily's holding a single bag while I struggle to carry 4, both hands well and truly full. It's a lot of work, but thankfully the items in them are light. Even without looking skyward, it's obvious that a surprising amount of time's passed. The road outside being dark and lit by street lamps. Once Lily retrieves her cane, we set back out to the dormitories the way we came, leaving the welcoming warm glow of the store. Despite the road being empty of cars, the full bags abundantly make up for the lack of noise, constantly clunking and squeaking together.
My Hisao, it's good to find that you're eating well.
I'm a growing guy after all. I need to eat all I can.
It must be nice being a man.
What? Seemingly not noticing, or ignoring my surprise at the completely out of left field comment, she continues on without missing a beat.
Weight doesn't really bother you when you're eating, most of the time.
I get what you mean. Women tend to worry about stuff like that more than we do, I guess.
Exactly. It makes me somewhat envious, to be honest.
Well, it's not like we can outright ignore it. With an affirmative nod, we continue on our walk. That's right.
What is it?
Hanako mentioned your birthday was earlier this year. Do anything special for it? She gives a long pause, lost in thought for a few seconds as she recalls the event.
Not really. It was just Hanako and I having a little party during the night after school.
Your birthday is supposed to be a big event, you know. Sounds like a pretty lonely way to spend a birthday, just she and Hanako staying overnight. Birthdays always felt like a family occasion to me. They were a time when, in spite of their full-time jobs, both my parents would make an effort to be there for the date, or at least for a party beforehand. It reminds me of how Lily mentioned she hadn't seen her family in such a long time, and even ended up moving away from Akira's house afterwards. But I guess it's the same in situations as mundane as these. Considering her inability to read the packaging, just getting groceries would be a pain without somebody else around. In the end, she just has Hanako and I, and Akira when she's off from work. Be that as it may, she still seems to have many more distant friends among the students, not to mention people like Hugo. It seems to be her own choice that there's such a separation between those who are close to her and those who she can only socialize with. It humbles me a little to see how much Lily seems to have her life set up and going just as she wants. Yet Hanako is there for her to celebrate her birthday, and I'm here helping with her shopping. It's a weird kind of symbiosis, I suppose.
Are you alright, Hisao?
Sorry?
You just seem to go very quiet, that's all.
Sorry, I was just thinking.
Oh?
And now I've piqued your curiosity. Feels kind of overly personal to talk about, though. You know, I should go back and do that later, for the sake of completionism! So I'll just make a new save, and try to remember to do that. But I'm gonna tell the truth. It was just I was thinking about how you seem to have everything all sorted out, even with Hanako relying on you. I can admit that even I kind of relied on you when I first transferred in. I think it's a good quality to have. I turned to Lily, surveying her reaction. She's forcing herself to look forward and furrowing her brow quite a bit. Her face looks a bit awkward as she was trying to find just the right words. Lily?
I would thank you, but assuming that I don't rely on the presence of others is too much. You'd be wrong to think that Hanako simply depends on me with nothing in return.
She seems to have to have been a bit troubled saying it. She seems to have a bit of trouble saying it, even though it's largely what I thought already. I'm gonna end the part there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.